Hello. Welcome back to Katie Get Read. Today I'm with the lovely Elise, who is the petite punk, and we're talking about I Was Born for This, a book I finished 48 seconds ago.
Literally,
Not a joke. I looked at the clock, and when I closed the book, and I had 48 seconds till showtime. Hero work. Elise, introduce yourself to the masses.
Hello, I am Elise. As Katie just said, my channel is The Petite Punk. I read this for the first time. We're hosting a read-along thingy, if you were not aware, and I've read all of the books already, like, before we read them, except this one. And I'm very disappointed about that, because this was epic.
It's so good. This was my second time reading this. The 5-star stays intact. I love this book.
I'm just going to subtly move my, large bottle of lotion. Just looks weird there. Sorry. Ignore me.
We'll have a drawing of a Christmas wreath.
Oh, very festive.
Yeah, very festive. Cool. So, what did you? I don't know how to start this.
Well, I'll say I gave it 5 stars. Also, again, it was my first time reading it, but definitely 5 stars. I had a blast. I was a little worried because I've read a bunch of books. Okay, by a bunch, I mean 2. In the past few weeks with the same kind of band premise. And they've been good, but I've been feeling like they're all kind of similar. So I was a little worried. It was going to be like, oh, look at matching colors.
I was like, I want to do a little orange. Okay, continue.
But yeah, I was a little worried it was going to be like every single band book I've read, but I was surprised. Alice Oseman just threw twists and turns. It was a wild ride.
It's the way that this book is nothing like their other books.
Yes.
I mean, not even just in the fact that it's like a band, but it's it's more than the pacing is faster. There's a plot.
I feel in a way this does discuss identity because our main character Angel, she really almost uses this band as her identity.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like all the other Alice Oseman books that we've gone through, identity is in a different sense. Usually sexuality, friendships, parents, and this is just totally a different aspect of identity, which is fun to explore.
It's a completely different vibe, and I don't know. It's just so funny because Radio Silence and Solitaire, and even Heartstopper, they're all set over the course of a year and a half, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And this takes place in 1 week and has violence in it.
I was not ready for okay.
Spoilers, up a banner. Hold on.
I read this at work. I hope my boss is actually subscribed to my YouTube channel, but I guess this isn't on my YouTube channel. But I read this at work because it was 90 degrees. Oh my gosh, I don't know how you do that. But yeah, no one was showing up. So I started and finished this all while employed. I got paid to read this, but the whole time, I was just not expecting the twists and turns because I'm used to the other very high school-y contemporary YA books that Alice has written. And every time there was a dash of violence, a dash of outrage. What? I gasped out loud. Maybe no one came to work because they were weirded out by the girl at the cashier desk just going nonstop.
It's when that fan throws the brick and I'm just what book is this?
Oh my gosh, I know. And that I was about to say spoilers, but I guess we have the huge banner. And the knife part, what was going on?
It's so good too, because Angel and Jimmy's plot lines are these aren't gonna cross, Or when they are, it's oh, they'll have their meet and greet, and then they become so intrinsically connected in those last couple chapters, and it's insane.
No, definitely. Do I want to? I'll admit it on the internet. I was very much a band kid, not bands like the high school band kids. I mean bandom. I was, yeah, bandom stuff. I was hardcore into My Chemical Romance. I had an MCR fan account. I've probably had 2. Do not try to find it, because right now it's currently a Dan and Phil account that I haven't used in over like 2 years.
You are an icon and a legend.
I've been hardcore in the stan culture. I get it. So I just think it's fun to read books about that, because like I get it. Like I understand. And I've read all of the fan fiction, just all of it. We're being honest on this channel. But with those, it's not my channel, so I can tarnish my reputation.
Oh, you can say anything you want here.
But what was fun was like all the twists and stuff, like the drama. It felt fanficky, but like not in a bad way. Like it was like well fleshed out, like valid plot points, but it had the drama and the fun of fanfic, but like it wasn't cringy or like cheesy. It was so fun, just a good time.
What I also love so much about this book is how Alice handles fandom culture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, it's so interesting because she does play with both perspectives of it. And then it's like, well, no one's right. We're all kind of doing our best. And I think that's really interesting because, you know, when you see like the crazy stands of anything and you're like, are you okay?
Mm-hmm. I was never like that, in case you were worried.
No, I don't care. But like, you know, those people where you're like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay? So like, I feel like this book handles that really well and like plays with fandom culture really well, and doesn't like, either praise or vilify it. Like it just exists. And I think that's what fandom culture is.
Like as I said, I was just finished. I've read quite a few books that have like this band aspect of it and like fan culture, but I've never read a book that exactly tackles this kind of topic of like why people like pretty much obsess over these bands. Like what is the mindset? How are other people perceiving it? But how are the people who are immersed in this culture perceiving it? Like I thought it was really interesting. Like there was a conversation about how like a lot of the intense fans of these bands, a lot of them are women, and a lot of these women are queer, so none of them want to like sleep with the band members. It's not like a, oh my god, he's so hot, I want to be with him. Like a lot of people, like they're looking for something else in that. And I thought it was so cool that was like a conversation that was actually brought up in like a published book.
It's completely true, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Not a lot of straight people are involved in fandom culture, I'll tell you that much. Regardless of what the fandom is, there's not a lot of straight people in it, I can guarantee. So I think I agree. I think that's a really important statement to have in a published novel by a pretty popular author.
And, you know, I think like a lot of people who, maybe if you're not like a diehard stan, but just even so, if you have like access to Twitter and you see this stuff, like I think a lot of people know that many of these fans aren't like, oh my gosh, it's my one dream to be with this band member and be like happily ever after married with them. Like a lot of people understand that, but I feel like if you just don't have a sense of this culture, it's just not something that's going to connect in your mind. Like you're just thinking, yes, you are staring at the pretty boy band because they're pretty and boy, you know?
All right, let's go through some comments.
Absolutely.
Hello! Stop reading Loveless the last 3 pages so you can watch this. You don't need to apologize. We have a live show.
Time to read Loveless.
I actually kind of agree. Like I get that it had like I think part of what Alice was going for in the style of the book was like a fanfic type vibe of like events. Do you know what I mean?
Achieved.
But like I felt like that was kind of what it was going for, as opposed to it being like, yeah, this is realistic life and times of what it is to be in a boy band, you know? So I think that was, and I feel like the end scene with the knife and Lister getting stabbed really is like the quintessential fanfic scene to me. Like, oh no, we can't find Lister. Where is he? Oh, he's dying in a ditch somewhere. Like, I just feel like that. I mean, it's still fun, you know, because you're like, oh, drama in an Alice Oseman book. What is this? Violence?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I agree. I think it is a little bit much, but it was kind of like the thing after the brick scene, which I thought was a fantastic scene. I think she was like, well, what is the climactic scene now? How do we end it? So then she's like, all right.
I will admit right now, since I've already admitted that I, at one point, I mean, it's still active, but I don't use it, had a Dan and Phil Stan account. Those are words that don't usually come out of my mouth. Every time I read Lister, I read it as Lester, like Phil Lester. I couldn't help it. Like my brain said, this is not Lister, this is Lester.
Okay, but I flipped Rowan to Ronan from the Raven Cycle like every single time. Like, it's not what it is. Hi, Maury.
She's probably not here, but I'll wave anyways.
Just wave. Maybe they'll rewatch.
Anyone can take the wave.
Anyone can. One of the other things I really liked was the exploration of internet friendships. You know what I mean? Because I've had a lot of internet friendships my entire time. As long as I've had the internet, I have had an internet friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, truly. So, and it's a weird concept because a lot of people don't think of internet friends as real friends, but they are real friends. Anyone who's had an internet friend can express that. And I love that exploration of the relationship with Angel and Juliet. And like the way it was like a little awkward, but like in a way of like, why is this awkward? We talk every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so real.
It's so good. I liked that like we saw one that like internet relationships or friendships can still be valid outside of the internet and they can actually work. Like these are genuine connections you make, but also still addressing that there might be some differences when it's a real life, when it's face-to-face versus online communication. That was appreciated.
I agree. And I think too, what was interesting was when the grandma is like, well, did she not tell you about, or whatever, or Matt, or whoever, screw him, are like, what do you mean she didn't tell you? And it's that thing of like, with internet friends, you kind of want them to be like your isolated thing away from all your problems.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know very much when everyone's like, but they're your friend. They should know this, right? And you're like, should they?
I also just
me.
thought you cut out. I thought you were done talking. Not to interrupt. I also just think it's like interesting to think about what little things are you not realizing make a difference when you're talking to someone face to face versus online. Like the weirdest thing. Sometimes when I meet people in person, I've literally only met one online friend, but just like in general, when like people meet me like on Zoom, okay, like because we've been in a pandemic.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. First thing they'll say to me is like, "Oh my God, you are a lot shorter than I thought," and it's just like, I wonder if like you'd be talking to me differently if you just thought of me, or if you saw me in a different sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
So weird. Because like I've now met 3 of my internet friends, and it's weird. It's like fun, but you're like for a second you're like, what do you mean I can touch your face?
I know.
So I like that Alice explored that concept because it's a very important thing for young people, I think, when they make internet friends to see like, oh, it's in a book, Mm-hmm. At least for me, I was like, oh, this is the representation I desire.
Mm-hmm. It's also just becoming so much more normal now. Like I just met I met someone from the internet for the first time like 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. And I told my parents, I was like, I'm going to meet a Twitter person. But I feel like if I told them that a couple of years ago, they'd be like, no, actually, you're going to go meet a strange old man who's going to kidnap you.
Yeah. I was like, Mom, I'm going to go do something. I was like, what are your plans this week? And I'm like, oh, I'm meeting up with one of my book friends. And she was like, okay. And I was like 3 years ago, that never would have flown. She'd been like, no.
Yeah, no, same here.
She'd been like, yeah, I do. I loved the way that Angel and Jimmy first met, and it's not a quick meet and greet. I 100% agree with this. Even though it's like a little fanficky in the best way. When I say things are fanficky, it's usually a compliment because I'm a huge
agreed.
fanfic. I read more fanfic than most people. But
I've probably read more fanfic than real books, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whenever I'm like bored in class, I have AO3 open in a separate tab. So it's a thing of like, it was a little, but it was also just a really important catalyst for the rest of the book and their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They hadn't met that way. It would have been, it would have just been like every other band book, in my opinion. I feel like that's what sets it apart, is that they each start to see each other as real people. Angel doesn't keep idolizing Jimmy, and Jimmy doesn't see her as potentially crazy for as much longer as he does.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's a really interesting part too, and it really helps with both of their character developments, because Jimmy still is nervous, still very anxious about fans and all this stuff at the end. But I think he's learned a little bit about maybe it's not all bad, He learned a lot about himself. But then specifically Angel, her development from being all I care about is the arc to maybe there's more to life outside of this wouldn't have happened at all if she hadn't had a bad time at that concert.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes, though, in the whole book, is when she stays at the concert alone and Jimmy makes eye contact with her from the stage and is she's not even smiling.
Yeah.
Angel's genuinely just standing there in the middle of this crowd, and she's like, I bought this ticket. I will have a bad time at my concert.
I love all of the little scenes where characters interact and meet for the first time. Like Bliss. I love the scene where Bliss is DMing Angel, it was you. But also, can you come save me? Pick me up. Save me.
I love when Bliss first is at the ARC meet and greet because I would do the same thing if I were in the Bliss's position. If I were dating, Harry Styles and it was a secret, I would go to Harry Styles fan meetups just for fun, just to see what people were saying, and it would be so exciting.
Katie's not hinting at anything. Definitely not spilling any secrets around here. No dating of celebrities on this.
Harry Styles and I would actually be a good relationship. I think we wouldn't have much in common. Oh, this one. All of the old people were so perfect and wonderful and wise. I don't know. I like that Alice usually relies on parents,
Mm-hmm.
And then in this one, she's like, no, we're going grandparents. No one has parents around, only grandparents. So I'm like, I love it here.
That's just on the train for, on the track, whatever I'm trying to say.
Maybe in a different
there are no parents.
Was sold to the arc, maybe in the first or third draft of this book, Angel was sold to the arc for gambling money, and she didn't know who they were because she was quirky and different. Oh my god, I would love to actually see someone publish that book
on it,
sold to a boy band, and then it becomes a dystopian novel. I think that is my dream book, and someone needs to on it.
I'm surprised it hasn't been, because Wattpad has its own publishing label. Come on, get on it. I know there's one out there with a million reads.
Read it, and then it's gonna get formally published, and then I will get a movie deal.
You're gonna get sold to a boy
to Disney, and then Disney is going to produce my boy band dystopian novel. Listen, I also, at the very beginning, find it a little forced.
Yeah. It took me 2 tries to get into it, and then I read it all at once.
it's once you get like into it a little bit, you're like, oh my gosh, this is like groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first, little bit, it's like very, I find specifically Angel's POVs at the beginning of the book very insufferable. Like when it's like every page, she's like, I love them. They're so special, but I'm not in love with them. Like I'm like, we get it. And I think that's kind of the point, but it worked.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed. That being said, I was always personally more interested in the Jimmy, Rowan, and Lister plot line just throughout. I was like, yes, give me fame. Let me just absorb this,
Mm-hmm.
That's just
I'm not getting paid to promote this, but if you liked that plot line too, you should definitely pre-order if this gets out. Good stuff.
Great book right there. If you were sitting there,
Boy and romance.
I loved that book. I just kind of wish that two of them had ended up together. Then you should read If This Gets Out by Sophie.
No spoilers. I mean, no spoilers here. Just hints, but.
Okay, look at the cover and tell me it's not romance.
I think it probably says that right in the little blurb on the back.
Literally in the blurb on the back. It's like, boy band falls in love. And you're like, okay.
But anyways, that'll be a discussion when it comes out in December.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hold that book in my hands.
Oh, I know. It's going to be good stuff.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. This was really her. She was really just like. Do you ever just stand at a concert looking weird and mysterious?
Oh.
The lead singer will stare at you and make eye contact and then yell at you later for having stolen his knife, which is a family heirloom. It's the character development. Yes, I love Alice Oseman as a writer because I am a character-driven reader. And so to read character-driven books, I vibe. Yes, I agree. I am obsessed with there is talk of Alice Oseman writing a sequel for this. It's still like far away, but like she's always like, it will happen if I have anything to say about it. So, everyone prepare yourselves for who I will become when they actually get together in a second one.
And then how I'm going to prepare myself is mainly get on it with my NetGalley ratio because I know Loveless was on NetGalley. Yeah, so I read Loveless. I didn't read it as an arc because I wasn't on NetGalley at the time, but I pre-ordered Loveless before it came out, and I was hearing people talking about it on NetGalley. So get those ratios up because I got rejected for the Arian Dante sequel. But,
that's awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love them. And I love that last page where Rowan is like, I think Lister's a crush on you. It's just like.
So I kept getting, I have so few brain cells when it comes to just reading for fun. So I get mixed up when it comes to multiple point of views. And then when it comes to a million different characters, I was getting so confused with which bandmate was who. So I was like, Jimmy and Lister. Is this the ship? Is this not the ship?
This is the ship of the book.
No, I mean like of the fan ship, because there was the one with Rowan. And I was like, is this the fan ship we're talking about? I'm confused. But then I realized, and I was like,
just the delicious drama of this after the book, Yeah. Lister's all dramatic because everyone's like, everyone ships the other two, and I want it to be me.
It's like he's writing fan fiction in his own fan fiction.
He's sitting there, he's like on Stan Twitter. He's like, what about Jimmy and Lister? You know what I do love about this book? Is that even though there is like a Jimmy Lister ship business going on, no one ends up with anyone.
Yeah.
In fact, the one couple in the book breaks up, and I'm very into that. It's all about friendship, and I am a fan. Yeah, big fan of that. Because I just know that there would definitely be some author out there who would write a book like this and be like, let's let the fans date the boy band at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, both Juliet and Angel would have ended up with a different member of the band. And it would have been...
I'm very glad Angel ended up just being Angel at the end. Like, no human attachment. Like, no relationship. Because...
I love that Angel gives me, like, some Arrow Ace vibes. Because the whole time she's like, why is Juliet flirting with this guy when the arc is right there? I have to tell my roommate what pipe cleaners are. She just texted me. It's like, she just texted me and it came on the thing. She's like, what are those fuzzy craft tubes? I can't remember the name.
Lovely. Okay, while we're at it, because I don't see any new comments, I have an important question. Which little person are you?
Oh, I know. I'm the one on the E and M of OSEMAN who's asleep.
Oh my gosh, that's the same one I always say.
I love that energy. However, I also think I am this one person, like right over here in the middle with the balloon. Just
that's
minding their business. They're not even
that's
like
a good one. That's a good one.
Just holding a balloon.
Actually, okay, I know who I am. Right under the, like where it says Catcher in the Rye, I'm the one holding the balloon, but I have to be on someone's shoulders because I'm 4 feet tall.
Why don't concerts actually give out balloons?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I will go anywhere with a balloon that has balloons and will sell them to me. This is off topic, but I'm going to Disneyland tomorrow and I will be buying a balloon, like at the end of the night.
As you should.
Yeah. Let's talk about, I don't know what else to talk about. Let's talk about the douchebag of the book, Mac, because
we have a comment on that in the chat.
Oh, nice.
So, Sharon and Brain Cell.
Mac and Lucas would hang out. Those two would be friends.
I know Mac contributed to the... Bye. I know I know Mac contributed to like the plot and the drama, but I wouldn't have minded if Mac was not a thing. Just
like I get his position in the book. However, if he hadn't been there, the drama between Juliet and Angel still would have existed.
Yeah.
You know, they still would have been figuring things out. I don't like Mac because he gives me that energy of like, if you ask him what his favorite movie is, he'll say like Pulp Fiction, but for the wrong reasons, you know? And like, you don't know it. It's small and it's indie. And I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. He's like the people in, oh my gosh, was it Tori? I think in Solitaire, like, oh my gosh, the band playing is Nirvana. You guys don't know what it smells like Teen Spirit is. My God.
Yeah.
Was
that guy where you wear a band shirt and he's like, name 6 songs.
Name 6 songs. What's the lead singer's name, blood type, year of birth?
Like, and then you're like, okay, chill, homie.
You know what I also couldn't stop thinking about while the comments in there, but real quick. Mac, we know he lied about liking the arc. That's one thing. However, to pay for concert tickets, that is a whole nother thing. But then to pay for concert tickets and a meet and greet?
How rich is this man?
Like, I just have much to think about. That is just above and beyond. Anyways.
It's quite impressive. To go that length for a girl you barely like and barely know, you know?
Mhm. Like at that point, you better become a fan if you are emptying your pockets like that.
If I was dumping that much money, I would force myself to become a stan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I would binge listen to all the albums. I would watch all the all the interviews just so I would have something
Mm-hmm.
to not seem like an embarrassment, you know?
Yeah, my friends make fun of me because I literally prepare for concerts. Like, I'll go to a concert for a band I've been listening to since I was 12. I will Google the set list and make sure I'm prepared, like that I know the lyrics to every single song.
You are my hero. You're my hero.
Thanks.
I mean, I don't frequent concerts very much because money and also anxious. However, if I do go, I don't like to look up set lists just because I like for it to be a surprise. I'm like, well, what are they going to be?
Surprises? I'm anxious enough. I literally go just with my dad. I never go with friends. It's just me and my dad, and usually we hang out in the back because I'm too scared to go to the front. And he'll be like, "We pay, go to the front, go to the front." I'm like,
no, I'm here for music and a good time. No, every concert I've been to, I've had like a seat. I never do like the standing room.
I usually do the same. No, I know this is Katie's channel, but if anyone wants to go to Hella Mega Tour for me in Chicago, I've been trying to get rid of this ticket for a year now. I've had it for 2 years. It's in Chicago. August 15th, come DM me because I have strangers in my DMs, but I don't want to go with a stranger because it's like literally non-transferable. You have to go with me. I'm fun, I promise. Anyways.
I would go if I could afford a
Chicago ticket would be way more than the concert ticket. That'd be like the price of all the concert tickets.
Yeah. I would be like, all right, I'll pay $600 for round.
You're just gonna have to live here.
Don't even get me started on how mad I am that Big Time Rush isn't performing on the West Coast.
I'm so mad that no one would go with me because I didn't want to go alone.
Mm-hmm.
But no one would go with me. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Once in a lifetime experience, folks.
Although I think they are going to open up more dates. I think these first two
they're testing the water.
They were like, what will happen if we try to come back?
Mm-hmm.
Started with
what I was thinking too.
I know that they're not going to do like a big tour thing because Carlos has 3 kids under the age of 4.
Do we have any big points to bring up before I accidentally start talking about Big Time Rush? Because I have some tea.
I want to see Big Time Rush every day of my life. No one is commenting. There's 6 people watching, and we're going to talk about Big Time Rush. This is on topic. This is about a boy band.
Yeah.
And Big Time Rush is the greatest.
This was Big Time Rush fanfic.
God, yeah.
Okay. So I haven't touched Big Time Rush for a decade practically, and I just started rewatching it with a friend a couple weeks ago, and I was looking up the band.
So good.
I haven't been up to date. So I looked up the band members, right, like them now.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bone to pick with James. Just how he looks. That sounds so shallow. He was like the edgy, almost emo looking band member. What is this?
I know he has like weird. He has like jock prep energy, and the way he runs his Instagram, I'm like,
the shaggy emo hair. I was so upset looking at this. Like, no. I was here for the shaggy emo haircut. No.
Okay, but now that like you're like more emo, one might be like Kendall. No, Logan. Now
yeah, maybe.
Kendall.
I was just so upset looking at that.
Yeah, Kendall's more of like her indie trail hiking playlist.
She's like, I didn't ask to see your abs.
Right?
I want the edgy hair. Like, put a shirt back on. I'm not here.
James.
None of your fans want to see you shirtless. Maybe the 12-year-olds, but no one else does. We went over this live show.
No boy band fandom is fruitier than the Big Time Rush one. I'll say that much.
They're gonna have a concert and it's just gonna be like a bunch of like 20 to 25-year-old women.
God, it'll be I can't wait until that concert happens because I can't wait to see everyone like talking about it because it's gonna be all people over the age of like 21 and
Really?
Just completely unhinged. Anyone who's like a preteen when the show was running will be there, and it's going to be awesome.
I don't know if any kids now would know that show. Like, I know it's on.
No.
What's it on Netflix?
But Netflix, but I don't think anyone's going to click on it.
Yeah,
like,
no.
To babysit isn't scrolling Netflix. It was like, oh, this looks fun.
Do you know? So we've already discussed in these live shows my very intense, not like other girls phase. Now, little secret from my past. I really loved Big Time Rush, but I was so not like other girls. I didn't want anyone to know I was watching a show about a boy band. So I would like pretend I didn't know what it was about. Like I pretended I had never seen an episode, saw an episode before. Like I'd wait, like it was my naughty cartoon. I'd wait till my parents were not home to watch it.
Oh, we have more comments. But we'll text about Big Time Rush.
Okay.
Mark would be the first to get a bad haircut. You say this as if Alice Oseman has not literally drawn 9 different arts of Lister with a mullet in the last like 6 months.
Wrong with the mullet?
Like she is continually talking about how Lister would get a mullet and the other 2 would hate it.
I tried for a few weeks to grow out a mullet. I couldn't do it. Made me feel icky.
I think you could look cool with the mullet.
I had a mini mullet. Like everything, I always get mixed up with the camera with it being put. I had all of this shaved, but like it was long and I couldn't do it. It weirded me out.
There's a girl in my class who has a mullet and it's so cool. I'm like, I'm too scared.
Okay, actually if girls and mullets, they could pull it off.
Right? But anyway, Lister would have all of the bad anything. Bad fashion, bad haircut.
But Lister would be able to pull it off.
Yeah, that's the good part of it. It's like everyone's like, that's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But
it looks good on you. Gosh.
But it looks good on you. I like that Lister is quite literally a Harry Styles character. Like the whole time I was rereading it, I'm like, is she writing Harry Styles?
If you would like a fiction book totally not based off of One Direction, Harry Styles, like totally not. Maybe try If This Gets Out, but like totally not based off of One Direction at all.
Not One Direction. However, if you had a One Direction phase, it's funny because like it's hard to call this like a boy band book because like they really don't fall. To me, like a boy band is like all of them are singers. You know?
Yeah.
Like more of like a real band. Like
what do you mean a real band? Are boy bands not bands?
Type situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They give me more like 5 Sauce energy.
5 Sauce energy.
Yeah.
Feeling it.
But yeah. But like you know what I mean? Like to me, like a boy band is like they're all singing.
Yeah. Like One Direction.
Big Time Rush.
Big Time Rush. You know what I wouldn't give to be one of the people who saw the Big Time Rush One Direction tour?
I keep forgetting that happened.
Just to be clear, I discovered One Direction less than a year ago, but
I didn't have a One Direction phase because I was not like other girls.
I mean, my phase came at age 20.
As it should though. But nowadays I have like I appreciate them though. Like I don't hate them. I just didn't have a face. Oh my gosh, child.
At first I read that and I thought you meant like you're 16, so now you're old enough to watch it. Like
yeah. Once you hit 16, you're allowed to watch Big Time Rush. You know what they should do with Big Time Rush? What they're doing with iCarly on Paramount Plus. That
would be so fun.
Like, if they gave them a little bit of an aged up show, I would be here for it, you know?
Do we know if they still talk? Well, I guess they have to now that they're a band, and they probably have been, but like publicly.
Yeah, the reason that Big Time Rush broke up wasn't because they hate each other. It's because they're contracted.
Yeah.
So like, they're still friends. I remember like a year ago, like pre-pandemic, like there was all these videos of like when Kendall went to go visit Carlos in Hawaii, and then like there was some more videos of like Kendall and Logan hanging out all the time. Like they all still are friends.
Good. Makes me feel better about myself. Just, you know, content. I will just.
That's why I'm like, One Direction's never gonna get back together. Like you guys can dream, but they are never.
I always say, I hope to God they never get back together, because the stress of getting Ticketmaster tickets would be too much. I don't want to admit how many times I cried over MCR tickets just because it was so high pressure.
I don't think I would even try to get One Direction. Like if they came back, I wouldn't even bother. Be like, no. This is an excellent part of the story to me, is that Jimmy is trans, but it's not a big deal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's the thing. I always love the discussion around, you know, I don't love it. I think it's quite annoying. But when people are like, oh, I don't want to read this because it's not own voices, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that's a great example of an author writing out of their personal life, but still being it's not about being trans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that authors who aren't trans should write about the trans experience, but they can and should write a trans character that just happens.
That's a really good way to put it.
Like, and the same thing with Angel too. Like, she's Muslim, and not once is it like the Muslim experience, you know, but it's just sprinkled in, you know, like, oh, she happens to be
a really, really good way to put that. I like that.
That's my stance. You know, like, I don't read a book by an author who isn't in the demographic writing about that experience, like a coming out story or whatever. But I will read when a white author or something writes a non-white character just as casual representation, just because it's a part of who the character is.
Look at you, spitting facts over here.
That's just my thoughts, at least, as someone who has to deal with Twitter drama like every single day of my life and is sick of it. Anyway. So yeah, that's my thought. But like, I really liked the casual representation of both of them because it was casual. I feel like so many books with trans characters or characters who are religious, it's like a religious book or it's a trans book. And so then it gets almost monotonous to a point sometimes where you're like, can't they just exist? Can't trans people and people of different religious backgrounds just exist and have their own story, and it's not centered around some part of themselves, and it could be about other things? Even if it is a big part of who they are, they have other life things happening, you know? Anyway, this is a little rant, but that's what I appreciate about this book as well, is it's a good representation of people just being people.
Basically, it's just great on all levels.
It's just a perfect book. Yes, I am always here for casual representation. Always. Always. I know, and I'm very upset that Big Time Rush only has 2 dates.
I love
another one. The only reason that LA wasn't even on the first one is because LA is a mess right now. So it's the only reason they'll come here.
Does anyone know how much they were going for, the tickets?
I know originally they were bad, but the resale tickets were insane. Yeah.
Because I know when I was getting MCR tickets, I don't know if anyone knows anything about My Chemical Romance, but that was like a big deal. Sold out seconds. But like the first tier, it started at like what, like $50-$60, whatever. But what they kept doing is it's like a wait line. So as those tickets were eaten up, they just increased the prices. And all of a sudden I had to pay like $300 for one ticket. And like they get you because you've been waiting in line. And they're like, okay, this is what we have for you. And you're like, okay, I'll take it.
The concert industry is a wreck, and there needs to be, it needs to be, a lot nicer. Because I don't know, there's a reason I also don't go to. That's another reason I don't go to a lot of concerts. Because
I have Spotify Premium. I got a little speaker. Everyone to come hang out in my bedroom or something. I'll throw you a free concert.
I know all the words to every Big Time Rush song.
Perfect.
Come over to my house. Just kidding, you can't. My campus security is insane. However, maybe we'll do a Zoom call where I will host this concert. You can pay me $1 because I am poor, and and that's how we can do it. It gets kind of exhausting to see because most of the trans books have really triggering content for trans people, and it's upsetting because I want to relate to characters. Yes, but like I'm not trans, but in other types of things, like I find a lot of ace books completely exhausting. I love them. I love to read ace books. I love to be represented and feel represented. However, I am exhausted every time I have to read another coming out story or whatever. Like I picked up Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kahn, and it was a good book. However, I was ready to go into it like, oh my gosh, yes, a romance book with an ace character, and it wasn't. It was another coming out book.
I just bought it. Wait, sorry, I'm gonna bring you around my room while we're here.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but she's a booktuber. I found her randomly on a second-hand seller app. And she was doing like custom edges. Look I got Let's Talk About Love, and the ace.
Okay, that's really cool. But it is a good book. Like, don't get me wrong, but I went into it with a different expectation than what it was. And so I was really bummed out when it was more about coming out and more about like coming to terms with something. I'm like, can't we just exist? Can't we just exist? But I do think also like the coming out books and, coming of age things in that regard are super important to like people who are figuring things out. But for people who have things figured out, it's exhausting, and it's just a lot.
I want to say we're waiting.
It's not even that I actually really enjoy writing. I just cannot finish anything that I start. So if I ever did, it would not happen. It won't happen, but I would like to.
I've never finished anything. I'll write, and then I quit. Most of written is like 50 pages. Most of written 70 pages of a book, and then I quit.
I'm so proud of you. I have written half a page of one. I made a tweet one time where I'm like, it was in reference to when I was talking earlier. That's something I did with the Wattpad boy band getting sold, but I was going to write it seriously. And then so I tried it. I got half a page, and then I was like, what am I doing with my life? And I closed the screen.
Writers do not get enough credit. Imagine like thinking of a whole story and then putting it on paper. Like,
God, they're my heroes. I love being a reader who is not an aspiring writer, like at all. It's just fun, It's just fun. I feel like if I was a writer, it would ruin my reading experiences.
Agreed.
Because I'd be constantly thinking about like sentence structure as I was reading. I'd be like, wow.
Yeah,
why don't you write sentences like that?
Yeah, I really want to major in like English or creative writing for college, and I was like, I think this might actually make me hate reading. I think this might destroy my only hobby.
Well, I mean, I go to acting school, and I haven't watched a movie with a real person in it since I started because I get so analytical of like what people are doing. It's like working. Like if I watch a movie with human people in it, I'm like, I mean, I watch like animated movies, but like I'll watch things and be like, wow, that's really cool people, and wow, they're really emotional, and wow, that's really good, like acting things, and I'm like, stop it.
You'd be so annoyed watching a movie with me. I pass out by the halfway mark, without a doubt. It doesn't matter if it's a good movie or not. I'm out like a light. Fall asleep every time.
Yeah, I also sleep. If I start a movie late enough, I will be out like very early, like clunked to whoever's next to me. I can't stay awake for a whole movie. but it also doesn't. I I can't watch like TV anymore either. I'm like, oh, the actors, the direction, and I'm like, stop it. Yeah. Any last thoughts on this? Because I have to say I love it. I love the characters. I love all of them. I think this is one of my favorite casts of characters.
Same.
In Alice Oseman book, because they all are so unique. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not to compare it to Radio Silence, but like that's the one that's freshest in my brain. With Radio Silence, I really only felt like 2 or 3 of the characters were completely fleshed out people. Whereas this book, I was like, okay, all 6 of our main characters feel like they have like personalities. Yeah. Whereas like I couldn't explain to you what whatever her name that was supposed to be Francis's friend, the girl in like I forgot what her name is.
I don't remember either.
Yeah. I don't remember her personality other than being mean. But like in this one, like the only character that I'm like they could have had more of something was Juliet, but I almost feel like her personality is that she's like a little bit softer, whereas like Bliss was like strong personality, but like it's only because she's loud, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I like all these people.
Don't mind me yawning. I don't think you're boring. I'm just sleepy.
I am sleepy too. Thank you, heroes. Came through for me.
Did better than us.
They liked her character. And then we get to read Loveless.
And then we're out of books.
No!
Like, no pressure.
Oh my gosh.
Be so sad.
I don't know. I just really loved this book. And it's been kind of like, I read this book for the first time, like, right at the same time that I started my BookTube channel. Like, I think this was the book I was reading when my first video was posted.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, ever since I started, I've been like, has anyone read this book? And for a long time, no one had. Like, I was the only person that I knew that has read this. And now, people have read this. At least 6 people who are watching this have read this book.
I know Heartstopper got the show, clearly, but I feel like this would make a fun show.
I think this is more of a movie.
Oh, that would be fun, too.
The pacing, this is a movie.
It would be fun in some visual format.
Oh my gosh, yes. The only thing is, though, like, who would they cast?
It's true. Have you watched Julie and the Phantoms before?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe like a movie, who knows, but I want it Julie and the Phantom style where we're going to actually get like full-fledged songs and we get a soundtrack. Like has to be 100% there, you know?
I agree. I think it should be a musical. I think that like most of the characters would be easy to find. I just like the way that Lister is described the entire book. He's almost uncastable. Like the whole time. You know, it's just very specific. Oh. It is like, for me, it is tied for my favorite of the Alice Oseman books.
I don't know where it is. Because again, this was the only one I hadn't read prior to this read along.
Mm-hmm.
I need to sit and process where I'm ranking that. I'm not sure.
Really think about it. I think next week we're gonna rank them. Elise, prepare yourself emotionally.
Oh, I'm prepared. I was already planning to do that as a video, so we'll get all my thoughts.
The next live show, we are ranking these.
Of course.
In full glory.
I better prepare beforehand before I freak out.
Soft. Okay, hear me out. And I was born for this TV series where each day is an episode, but Saturday and Sunday have 2 parts. Could you imagine the cliffhanger when they're like, where's Lister? And then the next episode, they're all looking for him? Like,
would you perhaps like to switch what you're studying going into film instead? So you could just...
So I can just do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make this.
Okay. All right, Kay's got it, everyone.
I've got it covered. I'll email Alice Oseman tonight. Yeah, let's get Kenny Ortega on this. Actually, as much as I love Kenny Ortega, I don't think he could go to the dark places that this book is going.
You're frozen. What?
Oh no. Sorry.
Wait just a second. I heard I don't think, and that was it.
Okay. I don't think that as much as I love Kenny Ortega, he could go to the dark places that this book kind of goes.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little too Disney Channel. And we need something a little more Riverdale, but not really, just a little bit.
You know that I've never seen Riverdale, but you know the part that's always like memed about like the, I don't know, I'm weird, I'm a weirdo.
You having a stupid hat on, that's weird.
That was 14-year-old me.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I think this should be something.
Yeah. I'm wondering if like with Heartstopper, because I keep saying this, but I just know it's going to be popular. There's not a doubt that it won't be popular. It will be. And I'm just wondering if that will be
show. The way that Young Royals has I haven't watched it yet, but the way that Young Royals has blown up, just because it's Heartstopper is going to go absolutely insane.
Absolutely. And the fact that it's going to be on Netflix, which is, very popular platform, it's going to be popular. And I'm crossing my fingers that that's going to give Alice Oseman just a little boost to get her other works out there.
Yeah, I think too that I think I saw somewhere that they also have the rights to the Solitaire plot line.
Why out of all the other
they're the same story. So it's I think they'll go into that and then maybe we'll get to branch off. I think if there's any possibility of a radio silence project, she'll put Aled in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are I'm sad Aled's not in it, I'm Aled's not in it yet.
Just scratched my leg that I was wearing sparkly eyeshadow. Are you ready to let our babies out into the world for the public to consume?
No.
No longer just be a little booktube thing.
You know what I will be obsessed with though? If in Heartstopper there's a scene where they're driving and they're listening to the arc, or just a little nod, because it's just universe. That would be really fun. It's let's do this, let's play this song, and it's Nick Nelson could defeat Thanos. You heard it here.
Who's your favorite superhero? Nellie from Heartstopper?
Nellie from Heartstopper. I am nervous about Heartstopper actually being a thing, because for a long time, I don't know, not even recently, Heartstopper wasn't that huge on BookTube to me personally, at least in my corner of it.
In the past year, it's been blowing up.
Yeah, I remember when I first got into it, it was no one had read it at that point, at least out of people I knew. And then a lot of people read it, and then I was but now everyone's going to know it.
It was definitely popular on Goodreads quite a few years ago, because I had marked it as to read years ago. But it wasn't enough people talking about it that I felt any urgency to read it, because I didn't read it till a year ago. But
yeah, I mean I read it a year ago now, but it was a thing of I felt not a lot of people had read it when I read it. I think it was right before it started to get really, really popular. Because when they announced the show, I saw a bunch of people being fine, now I'll read Heartstopper.
Yeah.
And now everyone's obsessed with it. And I'm haha, I was right all along. Not to be I was there first, but this is what I like to see, except for the fact that Yelena is canonically in the comics Arrow Ace. But I would officially agree. Anyway. I'm excited for Heartstopper, but I'm nervous.
Me too.
I don't want anyone else to like it.
No. We're such gatekeepers.
I will gatekeep Heartstopper just like how I gatekept Shadow and Bone. And how I will gatekeep everything else.
I know. I almost wanted to, because I asked Katie to do this read along, and it was just like, as I thought of it, I was like, hey, what if I did this? And what if I just DM'd Katie this second because it's in my brain? But I was almost going to hold back and say, what if we did it when the show came out? But then I was like, what if I want to gatekeep and I want original fans only, no new fans?
I mean, we could always do a reunion tour when the show actually gets a release date. We could do another one. I like.
Maybe we could do like a little read along type thing or read-a-thon thing, like a little, I don't know,
a little thing,
a thing.
But yeah, burp. But yeah, this book is amazing. I love the Oseman verse.
I second.
Anything else that we need to say today? We feeling good? It's been an hour. I feel like I've talked a lot.
I see a comment on Florence, and I just
Florence, you're absolutely right. I hope that I know that Marvel is going to abandon it in about one more movie. However, I hope they don't. For me, for me, I hope they don't abandon it. But I know they will because they abandoned all of the comic sexualities, and it's mean. I know. Alice Oseman deserves all of it, all of the attention. However, I was here first. Elise, now I know what we have to do.
Oh my
gosh. Can I play? I don't know. Can we just do that one where it's Tori and then, what is Nick's brother's name? Where they're like,
okay.
Where they're like hating each other?
Perfect. So whoever wants to support us, send some money our way. Katie is going to get a plane ride over to Chicago so that, because you're coming here because we're going to see the Big Time Rush concert, and we'll just pretend that's the arc while we're making this, and then y'all will get like a separate remake. So just send the money our way, probably all of it. We'll do
however much money you have, all of it.
All of it. And then some. So
I will put my Venmo in the chat.
Perfect. Better plug mine down there too. It'll be perfect. And that'll come to you soon. Make sure it's before December because that's when the Big Time Rush concert is. So thanks.
However, I want to make in most of my descriptions, my wish list is there. So if you want to support me, then find something. Just kidding. That's correct. We're making that seed. This attacked. Thank you for knowing my culture. Anyway, we're getting very off topic.
We are indeed.
I like this comment. I want it framed. Anyway, I love this book. I'm thankful people have now read it. If you ever want to talk about this book, you can DM me.
Or me.
If you are not already subscribed to Elise, her information is down below. And you are, wow, I really want to join this read along. There's still one more book. We will be reading Loveless starting this week. And then in 2 weeks, I will also be hosting that live show because I was like, I have to do this one. So we will be doing the Loveless live show on my channel at some point the first weekend of August, and I will go off. So I hope I hope to see you there. This is my favorite book of all time. If you are here but you're not going to be there, I will be offended. What are you saying?
No, I said I was hoping I wasn't in school but I'm not. Never mind. Okay.
You're good. Okay. Anyway, any last words, closing thoughts?
No, except I hope you all read Loveless because it's lovely.
It's the best book ever. You know what? Oh, pause. You know how in Radio Silence I said something about how I think it's funny that all of Alice Oseman's characters are always going like to clubs and stuff, but they hate it.
I was thinking about that comment you made throughout
like, I hate this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yes, finally the representation I deserve.
I know, same.
Oh. Oh my gosh, you're from Ireland? That's really cool.
That is cool.
I'm a filthy American, and that's fine. Oh my god, what time is it then?
Yeah, I was about to say, I apologize on Katie and my behalf for only ever being able to film around this time or later, because I feel like for a lot of people on the other side of the globe, that's like a ridiculous time. I hope it's not really late or really
I
early.
hope it's not really late. If it is,
It's
oh my
1
god.
a.m. It's 1 a.m.
Oh
And
my
it's
god. We're ending this so you can go to bed.
And this is our early show. Like usually we do it a couple hours later. We're so rude to people who aren't in the US. Oh my gosh, look at you got people all over the place.
Oh my
That's so
gosh,
cool.
this is insane. Well, thank you for watching. Please go to sleep. Oh my god.
We're sorry. We won't keep you up any longer.
Go to sleep. I love everyone that is here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining this. All the information is in the description. We'll see you in a few weeks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Go to sleep.